Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 4, otherwise entitled, There Will Be Blood. But of course, before we get into the rest of the video, let's actually watch that goddamn promo.
Doesn't something feel off about all this?
Dr. Rosso didn't mean to sneak up on you.
Why would someone do this?
To live, I have to kill. They have to be afraid.
Well, happy Halloween, everyone.
The Flash, new episode next Tuesday at 8/7 Central.
So last episode was pretty much like the fallout from Episode 2, which, you know, makes sense. It was the episode after Episode 2 where we have Barry pretty much living with what he saw in like that vision from Crisis, pretty much alerting the team like, yo, the date's changed, so it's time for us to get ready. And Barry sort of focused on getting the team ready for life without him, without actually telling them that he's not going to be there. Obviously, by the end of the episode, that's all revealed, but it wasn't like Barry's plan to tell them at that point. Killer Frost or Frost just figured it out by the way that Barry was speaking and alluding to things. But of course, we did see a lot of progression in the Bloodwork arc, where essentially Ramsey can now control blood and also can essentially control people through their blood by, you know, sort of infecting it and stuff like that, which is pretty damn interesting. Essentially turning them into zombies, as we saw in the Mitch Romero character from last episode. So pretty overpowered at the moment, and it's only going to get even more overpowered as we progress. So Bloodwork, even though it might not be the most well-known villain, could end up being pretty overpowered and a pretty hard one to take down. But of course, before we go through the trailer and point out all the big moments and what we should look forward to the most from Episode 4, we will quickly go over the synopsis or description for this episode, as it does give us a bit more context as to what's happening. But of course, before that, be sure to leave all of your various thoughts and opinions on the trailer, what you're looking forward to most in this episode, in the comments section down below throughout the video. Interested to see what you guys are looking forward to. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, why not drop a like on it to show support and excitement for the episode. Barry's efforts to prepare Cisco for Crisis are derailed when Cisco schemes to save Barry's life instead. Meanwhile, Ramsey Rosso uses his deadly new abilities to save his own life while sacrificing his humanity in the process. So the first thing that, you know, needs to be said, and I think a lot of you guys should know it, especially if you live in America, because the event is coming up and I'm sure it's being shoved in your faces every single day until it comes up, and that's that it's Halloween. So Halloween will be like, what, 3 days or something after this episode airs? So this episode will serve as a Halloween episode, as Ralph does make evidently clear towards the end of the trailer, I think it was, and, you know, it should be evident throughout the trailer anyway, because there's like decorations and stuff throughout the various locations we're in throughout the trailer for the episode. So definitely get ready for some spooks, people. Like, I think last year, technically the Ragman episode was the Halloween episode, but I think that aired like a week before or a week after Halloween or something like that. And even then, that Ragman episode, oh no, not Ragman, Ragdoll, sorry, Ragdoll, Ragman's Arrow, but Ragdoll, I think we all have come to the conclusion that they sort of wasted the character. They could have done something much more cool in that episode, and they sort of stuffed it up, but Season 5 was pretty much a stuff-up anyway. But the title of the episode, There Will Be Blood, actually shares its title with a film from 2007. Now, that movie is about greed and like wealth within like the oil and mining sector or industry, and I think it's the early 1900s. But obviously the title will relate to Ramsey Rosso because Bloodwork, There Will Be Blood. I think that's a pretty easy one to piece together. But it also could connect to Ramsey outside of the blood because of like that, you know, the core of that film's story about like greed and, well, wealth. But we can change wealth to power because, well, wealth is power if you think about it. And power is now what Ramsey is after. Like, the more he does his thing, the more powerful he gets, as we're going to see in the, you know, the next handful of episodes leading up to episode 8, which will serve as the finale for Bloodwork's arc. So there is pretty much a couple of reasons that this episode shares the same title as that film. But to start off in the trailer, we do see the Flash and Killer Frost arrive in a hospital, most likely Central City General or Central City Hospital, whatever it's called. Now, we do hear Barry say, "Doesn't something feel off about all this?" Now, this is most likely referring to the hospital because, as you can see, it looks abandoned as hell, almost like something out of The Walking Dead. Like, it could be something else, like maybe something feel off about this. Maybe it could just be like a text that doesn't sound right from Iris. It could be something as subtle as that, but you'd have to think it's about the hospital. As I said, it does look abandoned, like it's almost like something out of The Walking Dead or some sort of like post-apocalyptic movie where everything's being like abandoned. Like it does look like no one's been in it for ages, or some serious crap went down, one of the two. Now there are some elements in this episode where it feels like that's directly what they're going for, like a sort of like Walking Dead, abandoned, like apocalyptic sort of thing, which we'll bring up later in the trailer, because that's definitely what they're going for, I think. Now, we do see Ramsey Rosso here sneaking up, and he's basically jump scaring this doctor for the most part here in the hospital. Now, this is most likely, obviously, before the carnage that will ensue, that will leave it like we see when the Flash and Frost arrive earlier on in the trailer. Now, according to IMDb, which, is hit and miss, but I think they're right with this one, this doctor's name is Dr. Rodrigo, which won't be of any importance. Like, don't get too attached to Dr. Rodrigo. But I just thought I'd like to, throw it out there so you know his name before he is most likely killed off fairly quickly. Maybe he might get 2 minutes of screen time, but yeah, he'll get off. He'll get killed off pretty quickly, and I'd like to think pretty viciously by Dr. Ramsey Rosso. However, he might return in some way. But yeah, what I was alluding to there with our good old new friend of Dr. Rodrigo and how he could return after being killed by Dr. Ramsey Rosso viciously is that it looks like we're pretty much going to get an upper scaled version of what we saw last episode with Mitch Romero, and we're going to get pretty much Walking Dead in a hospital, a lot of zombies taking over. They do a really cool shot where it's behind a piece of plastic film. There's probably some construction going on there, or there's just plastic film up, and lights are going off, and you can see the zombie hands going up. Obviously, are they really zombies? They're more just controlled people but then again they're dead, so I guess they are. They're zombies that. They're zombies. We're just calling them zombies. If I say they're sentient, controlled, undead beings, that's just confusing. Let's just call them zombies. So we have zombies in a hospital. It's not snakes on a plane. Zombies in a hospital. So it looks like Ramsey's turning everyone in the hospital into the undead. It's interesting to see the more he kills, the more powerful he is in regards to how many people he's able to control once he kills them or does what he does to them. I'm guessing we'll see a lot of progression in this episode, and how quickly Ramsey gets used to the powers, and how greedy he gets with them as well, I guess. And possibly also people outside of the hospital were killed by Ramsey. There is a shot of Frost looking through some curtains and seeing a lady dead on the floor. She's in a bathrobe. Maybe she was killed by Ramsey, but this could still be in the hospital though, just maybe in a live-in quarters, a more, permanent quarters where someone that's really sick might live, so it's a bit more residential, if you want to call it. Not too sure, though, because it does look like window curtains, not actual curtains that would be in a hospital, so we'll have to wait and see, though. But if Ramsey's doing stuff outside the hospital as well, that makes Team Flash's job even more difficult, rather than having in a confined area. Now, we do hear Ramsey say, "To live, I have to kill," and that's pretty much what's going on here. He has to kill these people to get the blood and everything that's going on there. He also says then they have to be afraid. I think that's what he says. I think he says they have to be afraid. So do people have to be afraid, or is he talking about the people that are trying to stop him, or other people have to be afraid as well? Obviously, with speech parts and little quotes and stuff used in trailers, a lot of them are either out of context or they're joined together. So that "to live, I have to kill," but could be him saying "to live" in another sentence, and then "I have to kill" from another sentence as well. And they put him in the trailer to be a bit misleading, or just to make it sound a bit cooler. But I'm interested to see what Ramsey goes for in this episode, and what we learn about his powers as well as just his progression in general, because I'm really enjoying the Bloodwork arc. Now, it does look like we're going to have a Frost versus zombie sort of fight here. Now, it will be interesting to see if it is someone that maybe Caitlin knew and that Frost feels a connection to. I think this maybe could be the same person that Frost sees through the curtains. It could be. If that's the case, then obviously that scene takes place in the hospital as well. Or maybe it could be even a bit more harsh, and I don't think they would do this because it is a bit heavy. It is a bit heavy, and it might not suit the Flash in regards to tone. But maybe it's a young patient. Maybe it's a 15-year-old girl or something, because it looks like it's a girl based off the hair. I'd like to think it's maybe just someone that Caitlin or Frost knew, but it could be a young patient, which makes it a bit more hard for Frost to deal with. It does look like we're going to have a Flash and Frost versus Bloodwork fight. It could just be a Flash and Bloodwork fight, which would make sense, I guess, but I'd like to think Flash and Frost would be teaming up, especially because of what's happening. Barry's trying to teach Caitlin and stuff. So I'd like to think that's what's happening here. Obviously, the synopsis does talk about Barry's going to be preparing Cisco as well. I think we all think he's going to be sort of asking Cisco to maybe to build some gauntlets that sort of replicate his vibe abilities, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens throughout the episode. Now, we do get to see Ramsey with his black veins. Like, he's starting to, like, legitimately turn and transition into Bloodwork. You can see on his neck he has, like these marks, like these black veins. They will go all over his face before he basically just goes into the big CGI blood monster-looking thing from the comics. So I'm interested to see, like, how fast they grow, because this is only episode 4, so this will mark halfway through the Bloodwork arc, because obviously it doesn't end till the end of episode 8. So maybe they might not progress too much. Maybe like episode 7 he gets fully covered in them, but we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, it looks pretty cool. I think having like the really dark black veins is really cool. In regards to that CGI blood monster though, it should be disgusting, but in all the best ways possible. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Now, there are some promo images for this episode that sort of hint at maybe like a Joe and Cecile side story by the looks of it. I'm not too sure. I'm just going off them. You know, they don't really tell you that much. But I would also expect some, or a side story with the new Wells as well, and what we saw at the end of last episode when he goes down the manhole. Maybe like Cisco and Iris again, or maybe Cisco and Ralph, or maybe all three. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I'd expect a side story with that new Wells, and then maybe Joe and Cecile as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and my trailer, or my breakdown of the trailer, might I say. If you enjoyed it, as I said, drop a like on the video. It'd be awesome. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on the trailer, what you're looking forward to most in this episode. You're looking forward to the Halloween scary, spooky episode. You let me know all of those thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, would be awesome if you could subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.